rules for thee, but not for me. Governor Gavin Newsom, Mayor Eric Garcetti, and other elected officials facing criticism and calls of hypocrisy tonight after being photographed maskless at Sunday's Rams 49ers game. This is despite continued state and county masking rules.
Phil Schuman spoke with the governor today, joins us live from Inglewood. Phil, you tried to press him on this, and he sort of, maybe, kind of said mea culpa, kind of.
Right. I mean, he answered the questions. He didn't like them, but he answered them. You know, a lot of people wish that COVID would go away, but 40 people died just today in Los Angeles County alone. That's why the mask mandate remains in effect indoors and outdoors at big events like a football game at SoFi. The idea is to slow the spread of the virus, so that's why it's important for the governor to set an example. Big smiles, no masks. Magic Johnson with the governor, with mayors Eric Garcetti of LA and London Breed of San Francisco. Magic tweeting, hanging out at SoFi. The governor's explanation?
Correct. I was very judicious yesterday, very judicious, and you'll see the photo that I did take where Magic was kind enough, generous enough to ask me for a photograph.
Mayor Garcetti's spokesman told me the same thing. Not good enough for some, like Dr. Human Hamadi.
The message that it sent was one of utter hypocrisy.
Hamadi's also a parent of school-aged children who must wear a mask per state order all day. I spoke to the governor today. He said he was very judicious about the mask. He took it off briefly. Is that not fair?
There's no way that that is true, because when you look, I heard his quote, when you look at his hands in those pictures with Magic Johnson, he did not have a mask on his face. He didn't have a mask in his hands anywhere to be seen.
But this afternoon, Newsom's team sent Fox 11 pictures to prove his point in the stands wearing his mask. It's a sensitive subject. Governor Newsom, of course, survived a scandal when he was photographed maskless at the fancy French Laundry restaurant in Napa during the height of the pandemic. Given your history with this issue, should you maybe have reconsidered taking the mask off for the photo, for the image, the message that it might send?
I mean, of course, I was trying to be gracious, and I made a I was trying to be gracious and took the mask off for a brief second. But no, I encourage people to continue to wear them.
And LA County Supervisor Holly Mitchell told me she's more concerned with all the maskless fans than a few politicians.
And I hope that we will all make the commitment to do different in 2 weeks when we host the Super Bowl. Go Rams.
So there's pictures of the governor with the mask, without the mask. Mayor Garcetti said the same things. The governor took it off briefly to take a picture. Nothing from San Francisco Mayor London Breed. She's had her own issues with this problem in the past, saying she's not accountable to the thought police, as she put it. The mask mandate does remain in effect, but people are just questioning if it's necessary. The reporting we've done in the past week or so, Elex and Marla, remember, 1 million something fans at SoFi, not one example of the spread of the variant. So is the mask mandate on the way out? That's the big question.
Well, and to that point, as we just showed from the video there, not a lot of people at SoFi have been wearing masks all season long. And so if you're in this situation where there isn't spread with that many people that close together for that many times, and this is not an isolated thing. When you watch sports on the weekend, there are far fewer masks at like stadiums in the middle of the country where they gave up on this stuff a long time ago, and they're not seeing giant outbreaks from it, especially in outdoor settings. And Marla, Kathryn Barger is weighing in on this today.
Yeah, she is. She's taking a big stance. Barger released a statement today saying masking rules set by the state and county weren't followed consistently by everyone at yesterday's NFC Championship. Let's do away with blanket COVID-19 masking policies. They don't make a difference when they're not consistently followed or enforced. I will say this. Dr. Ferrer, Barbara Ferrer, of course, the health director with LA County, last week, when she made the point that there has not been direct spread from these big events with millions of people, and over the course of the football season, more than 1 million, I should say. Nonetheless, she says that masking compliance is high. But again, the pictures show differently, and also enforcement. She made it a point that SoFi staff does a great job and that health officers are out there to remind people to wear their masks. I was not the game.
Well, let's even take the picture, Phil, from Governor Newsom's perspective, which he thinks is evidence that shows that he was doing the right thing, him wearing the mask. He's in a box, presumably with some of his friends or people that he knows, and he's the governor of the state, and he can't even convince any of them to wear a mask. The entire box, he's the only person in a mask. That's absurd.
This has been a consistent theme of our reporting on the pandemic for almost 2 years now. Mixed messaging from the top, from the White House, from the CDC, from the governor's office, from the county level, from the state level. There is no one clear policy that has been justified and explained scientifically, and the masking mandate is an excellent example of that. And the other theme has been the lack of enforcement. They've created all of these rules, they've passed all of these health orders, and there is no enforcement, simply voluntary compliance, because they're more about encouraging people to do the right thing than punishing people for violating the rules.
And the statewide mask mandate is in effect until February 15th, which takes us to and beyond the Super Bowl. It's going to be interesting to see if the LA County Health Department and SoFi Stadium, if they change the masking policy, or if they do make an effort to better enforce it. If it's going to be there, it should be enforced.
Just from a raw politics perspective, though, after this, it is going to be very difficult politically for Governor Newsom to extend that statewide mask mandate on February 15th.